episode 6 of Grit and Grace Leadership Talks with myself, Kate Taylor. I'm so excited to have you in today with me, and the amazing Ray Mardia, who I have with me today, who's been an amazing friend, leadership coach, and woman in business that we connect with often. So thank you, Ray, for joining me today for this fun episode.
Oh my gosh, such a pleasure. I mean, so much to talk about, and it's December, so I know we're going to have a great conversation today.
I thought it was like awesome time because you do a lot in the coaching space and leadership and life and helping people kind of connect with themselves and give themselves some love and, you know, all of that. And I just thought it made sense to connect with you before the end of the year and just kind of do a little wrap up podcast together, because you're one of my first podcast people on my Grit and Grace Leadership Talks back in May or June, was it? And now here we are, it's December. So we're on season 3 and we're one of the last episodes for season 3. So thank you for coming back and joining me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's like full circle, right? The end and the beginning, and congratulations on doing 3 seasons of it already.
I know, it's just like the years flown by and got to interview some amazing guests. And I've been in a bit of a reflection state, I guess, coming up to Christmas. And I started thinking like a lot of us are feeling exhausted and run down and just kind of chasing our tails, trying to wrap up work, trying to wrap up school, trying to wrap up like friendship catch-ups before we all like wind down for the Christmas break in Australia. And I just thought it would be great if we could kind of come together and brainstorm a little bit of our self-care tips that we find are helping us or that we've seen others doing, so that we can encourage everyone to kind of take a moment, take a breath, and just review and recharge before we jump into 2024. I thought this would be a good time to chat.
Absolutely. It's going to be jam-packed with strategies and insights today. I'm excited.
Yeah. So I thought to start with, we've got a few that we've prepared, self-care tips. And I thought I'll share one and then you can share one and we'll see what lands with people. Because I feel like some tips you might have thought of, we haven't actually shared notes, guys. So it'd be interesting to see if we actually have the same tips or different tips.
We'll see.
But feel free to jump in if you have a similar tip to whatever I say and vice versa.
Absolutely.
So I thought the first one for me, I was thinking was around calm. So I know this is not a word we hear much at this time of year, but I thought it's important to create some time out for calm throughout the silly season. So I thought it would be really important to just encourage people to remember to, you know, even if you only have 5 minutes here and there, like just take a 5-minute meditation, put it on, or, you know, I did a podcast with Stephanie last week and we talked about a 15-minute pause and actually having those intentional pauses throughout our day. And I started doing it last week after we had a chat. I thought, I'm going to try this. And she's like, just try it once a day, like even if it's 15 minutes, but intentional pause. And so I've been sharing on my Instagram stories little things I've been doing to have a pause. And like just sitting in the sun, having my lunch rather than sitting at my, like in the kitchen at the office or, you know, at my desk. I actually made the intention to go out in the sunshine. Another day I was like, I'm just at home working from home. So I'll go out to the garden and just stand on the grass and soak up the sun and just, you know, be present. So, you know, just finding little intentional like moments where you can pause and calm, whether it's a meditation, whether it's taking 3 or 4 deep breaths, you know, and just making sure that inhale is shorter than the exhale, and it actually really calms me down. I don't know about that's something that's really I'm trying to work on at the moment.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it just kind of goes back to this phrase that's sort of common in sort of leadership lingo, right? That phrase, you have to slow down to speed up, right? That the greatest approach to actually being more productive and being more efficient is actually to move at a pace that is steady rather than being very frantic and working at top speed all the time, right? And you think about it, right? Like if you actually are prioritizing speed all the time and not actually taking breaks, you make it so much harder to finish what you have to do. And it's more stressful for you. It's harder to communicate and put boundaries with other people. So there's actually a lot of benefits in slowing down and being calmer, in being mindful you'll see that you communicate better, you'll be more efficient, and you'll also be like far less stressed moving forward.
It's true. Definitely before like a tough meeting or a tough conversation with someone, having, especially the sleep season can also bring out tension between family members. Just remembering to take those deep breaths to just calm your nervous system down before you go into that situation. Maybe have some strategies around how you're going to like be kind to yourself prior to going into a difficult situation. And then maybe afterwards having some self-care that you might do just to help you process and deal with whatever emotions come out from family and friends at Christmas.
Yes.
It's important.
Yeah, so important. That's a beautiful way to phrase it. Yeah. And especially, to put things in context about why it's important right now, right? When you have so much on and why it matters now. Yeah,
definitely. And in terms of what's your top tip, your first tip for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's to actually have really honest and realistic expectations. And by realistic, I don't mean like setting the standard low or anything, but actually realizing that you don't need to have everything perfect, right? It's to have just expectations, to prioritize what really matters, set goals to maintain that sense of fulfillment and joy and accomplishment, but just, actually give yourself a break and realize that everything does not need to be perfect. I think for women especially, that's much harder because we place such high standards upon ourselves. And especially during this time, right? Like the cake has to be perfect, the pavlova has to be perfect, the card has to be perfect, this has to be perfect, that has to be perfect. It's like it actually doesn't,
like who's really going to care if it's not perfect or something runs late or doesn't all work perfectly? I think that's a really big one, because I actually had I was talking to a counselor about this, because they were like, well, what happened, like, because I'm grown up in a world where my dad was in the spotlight, and I was expected to be this perfect kid all the time, and so for me it was like this pressure to be perfect. And then every time we would have visitors, my mum would like clean the house top to bottom, like everything would always look perfect. And so I do the same thing. And then I was like, and then my counselor was like, but does it really matter? Like, what if your friend came over and your house was a mess? Like, how would you feel? And I'm like, I don't feel comfortable when they do that. Like, and actually he was like, but does it really matter? Like, what would you say if you went to a friend's house and their house wasn't perfect? I'd be like, maybe they're having a rough time, like, and actually be a bit kinder to them. And he's like, well, then why can't you do that to yourself?
And I was like,
yes. I was like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So effectively coming full circle, right? And saying, be that friend to yourself. And sometimes, we're running old patterns we're not even aware of. So it's like, you might not intend to be so perfect with, say, your Christmas deadlines or your business deadlines. But because that pattern is running from when you were a child, you approach everything with perfection. And so then that adds that added layer, right? Of you being good, or you being a perfect person or a leader. Like some part of your identity is then attached to like a lunch or like an email or something. And it's just like, do we really need to tie that much self-worth in these everyday activities? It's like, we don't really need to do that.
No, we don't. And I think, we are our own worst enemy sometimes. We just need to delegate as well. Like, don't be afraid to delegate some tasks that are just too much right now. And ask people around you to support you. Like, I'm hosting a barbecue on Sunday, but I've asked people to bring a plate or bring something to share, just to take the pressure off, so I don't have to do everything, because I've got a medical procedure on Friday. So I was like, I'm not going to be in the mood to be doing my usual massive hosting.
Yes.
So I'm going to have to delegate this, because I can't do it all.
So important. Right. And that actually leads to my but I'll wait for you to talk about your second one, but that's very related to my second tip.
Oh, okay. Maybe you jump in and do yours, because mine will be a fun one after that.
Yeah. So basically, it's like what you were talking about is this aspect of placing boundaries in place, right?
Yeah.
So actually, delegating is letting people know what kind of support you need when you need time or bandwidth for yourself for something else.
Okay.
And so, just if we just extend that, it's like say no to stuff. It's okay to say no to stuff. So whether it's declining certain networking things, or whether it's delegating something, or limiting social engagement so that you can work on your business, or saying no to something that's really stressful in your business so that you can spend time with your family. Like, prioritize what's important for you without feeling guilty. I think that's very important during this season,
Yes.
actually. Right?
That's
So it's
true.
like, it's one thing to delegate, but then it's another thing to do it without the guilt, which is what we really do.
So I think that's when we have to reframe it, right? Like when we delegate and then almost give ourselves a pep talk if we need it, to say it's okay to do this and not to feel bad. Yeah.
It's okay to say no to things, because that means you say yes to something else, which is really important. So just want to encourage everybody who's listening. I'm saying this to myself as well, right? Prioritize that stuff, saying yes and no without feeling guilty.
I love that. No, that's perfect. That did tie in very well.
Yeah.
And I thought the other one was around a bit of pleasure and fun. I think it's important to take time out for pleasure and fun, and acknowledging that it increases your happiness levels when you do this. So actually creating those magic memories and moments and that you really want to with your loved ones. And I think, my family and I this year have decided to do a destination Christmas with our families. So we are all going to the Gold Coast. I've got, my husband's sister and kids and husband, and then his parents all joining us. We're going to rent a house in the Gold Coast, and we've decided instead of going to Adelaide or rushing to, host in Sydney, we're just going to go to a destination and have a holiday together. So it's either going to be great or chaos. I'm not sure yet.
Maybe both, right?
It's going to be a mix of everything, and it's going to be awesome. And so I think, and my mum and sister and all that are going to be in Brisbane, so they're going to come up and see us. And so I just feel like it's just going to be great, to do something different. So we haven't ever done this before, so I think it would be great to actually have a break and have some fun. We're going to the theme parks with the kids. So it's going to be a big adventure. It'll be, crazy hot, but it'll be fun. So I thought that was important, just to remind people to take those moments to have fun, because we all work so hard, and it's important to take that time. What are you doing for Christmas?
Amazing. And you know what? This is a bit of an overlap, because I wrote this down today just thinking about it, which is what's really special about this season especially is that people can create a lot of rituals, right? You guys maybe have family rituals or personal rituals, or maybe like I know people watch movies with their families on Christmas Day, or they eat a certain dish that brings them that sense of comfort, right? So creating meaningful traditions, whether it's individual, whether it's with your family, whether it's social, it can bring an enormous sense of comfort and joy, right? And so whatever aligns with your values or interests, so it's beautiful that this can be a moment to really focus on those experiences and enjoy that part of the holidays.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. I feel like all of our points are kind of tied in, even though we didn't compare notes. This is awesome. Because my last one was around connection. So studies show that as humans, we are social creatures, and we need connection with friends and family to help us thrive as humans. And I think, that's where that ties in around creating those moments, creating those traditions of magic memories. Like last night we went and looked at all the Christmas lights around our area with my daughter and Emma's godmother and my best mate and husband, and we all just walked around and looked at all the beautiful lights. And so just creating memories like that, and chatting about the lights and, just being really present. I think, it's so easy just to be on autopilot through this season, but remembering to be present, put the phone away, get off social media wherever possible, and just give yourself time to just reconnect and recharge with family and friends. And really being present and creating those memories, because that's what really counts, right?
Oh, absolutely. Right. It's like, if you think about it, it's like these are the things that stay, the time that you spent with your loved ones, the times with your clients, your friends, the people that you really value and care about.
Yeah,
So I think we also live in such a technology heavy time. So it's very, very important, right, to realize that social media is not real. It's not living. So
no,
it's very, very important, right, to hug the people that you love, and be next to them, and just hear their voice, and be close to them, and just have those moments of experience, which are going to stay with you, right, as you evolve through life.
exactly. And I think, yeah, that definitely is a moment to do that at this time of year. And also being kind to yourselves. I think, I know you've had a really rough year, and I think personally with your mum, and I just think, taking that time to acknowledge that, maybe this time of year is quite emotional and hard for, like, personal reasons, and loved ones are no longer here, or things that have happened. And I think it's important to, like, be extra kind to yourself if this is a year that might be a bit upsetting or hard for you to go through Christmas, because we just don't know what people have gone through. I remember, through COVID, going through Christmas and having, a miscarriage like 2 days before Christmas. Like, it was just like the worst Christmas I ever had. And, like, I just remember, like, and each Christmas I get reminded, like, wow, like, we've come a long way, but that's still a memory, right, from 3 years ago. And so I think just being kind to yourself, because I think, and telling people what you need, because I know my friends and family didn't really know how to help at that time, and they were all feeling it. Even if they were distant, they all felt like they wanted to be with me, but none of them could even get on a plane to be with me, even if they wanted to, because of COVID restrictions. So, just being kind to yourself, because, we just don't know what battles family and friends may have faced this year. People that we're seeing, just give a bit of grace, because I just feel like this could be really sensitive for a lot of people. And sometimes when you slow down, all those emotions come to the forefront, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. And again, we're on a roll today, because that was my number one thing, which is, like, during this time, we feel a lot of different emotions, right? The holiday season, yes, it brings joy, but for other people, it can also be stressful. It can bring times of grief. It can bring about moments of exhaustion. So it's like, really be aware of those emotions and accept them as part of being human, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, like, treat yourself with the level of kindness that you would offer a friend or a loved one experiencing that feeling, and be very gentle with yourself, right? Because it's important, right? Like, life is imperfect, and it's joyful, and it's important to be able to navigate all of that. And sometimes, the festive season sort of brings all of that to the surface.
I think so. It brings to what you've loved, what you've lost, what you need in your life, and what you don't. And that ties me to this beautiful quote that I had sent you this morning, that I've been sent to a few different people in my world, that I thought would really resonate with people at the end of this year. So I'll just read it now. Life is amazing, and then it's awful, and then it's amazing again. And in between the amazing and awful is an ordinary and mundane and routine life. Breathe in the amazing, hold on through the awful, and relax and exhale during the ordinary.
Beautiful.
That's just living. Heartbreaking, soul healing, amazing, awful, ordinary life, and it's breathtakingly beautiful.
There you
and
go.
That's Nost. I just thought that sums up 2023 in a nutshell for me. I don't know about you, but that's,
Yeah, stunning, right? And just, I think that's also the height of a very intelligent, open-hearted person, where they can accept that life contains opposites, right? Life is not just one thing all the time. It's hard to accept that, but when you do, you're very connected with the experience of life on a deeper level, right? Because it's not always that great. Sometimes it's awful, and sometimes it's astonishing. It's so beautiful, and it hurts sometimes. So it's like, being able to experience all of that, it makes life a lot deeper and richer for everybody.
I think so. I think it's beautiful and great way to wrap up this podcast. And I'm just so grateful that we are still in touch and connected throughout all of the years and all the things that have been happening. And you're someone that's walked with me through some high and low of seasons in life. And I'm eternally grateful that you have been there through that and as a coach of mine. So if you're someone that's in the leadership, CEO, executive space who is looking for a coach who's going to be that heart-centered, really help you connect with yourself and your well-being, but also then help you step up to all your potential and all you're meant to be and empower you, then raise the type of lady you want in your world. So definitely, how could people get in touch with you, Ray, if they'd like to discuss any options around coaching for 2024?
Gosh, the first thing to do would be to connect and to reach out. So send me a message, send me an email. We'll have the details here. Connect with me on Facebook or social media. But the first thing is for us to get to know one another and just see, right, what they need. And then I would love to just have a conversation and just see if I can serve them and how I can serve them. So, one thing that we're talking about is, aside from being compassionate and gentle with yourself, right, it really does take a village to go through business and life. So part of that is involving reaching out to friends, family, and a support network, really sharing your feelings and being seen and allowing others to offer you that support, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of what this mentoring process is about as well, which is to engage in that process where you're not going through something by yourself, but you have people in your corner who see you and love you and are there for you along that journey.
I think that's so true. And it's like having that kind of toolkit of support around you when things get really tough. And you're someone that was one of the first people I would contact when things would happen, because I'd be like, okay, we need to book a coaching call because I don't know how I'm going to navigate my business in the next season. And then we would work it out, and then I'd have a session with my psychologist to process all the emotions, so it's about having the right people around you and knowing that they're there for you when you need it. So I think
absolutely, darling. It's like, even just a little thing, like try looking for something when all the lights are off in a room, right? It's just hard to find things, to be somewhere if, for example, those insights or that kind of guidance sometimes isn't there, right? We just sort of limit what's possible for ourselves if we're trying to do everything on our own. So that's where this comes in. And I'm also so grateful. We've known each other for 6 years running now. And I'm also incredibly proud of all the milestones you've met and achieved in your life, personal and professional. And it's such an honor to witness your journey and to support you and guide you along the way.
Oh, thank you so much, Ray. I really appreciate all you've done to support me over the years. And you don't forget the people that were in your life during the darkest moments and the ones that kind of went out of their way for you. And, you went above and beyond what you had to do as a coach to support me. And I think, you always treasure those people in your life, whether it's a professional capacity or personal capacity. I think the ones that stuck by you through it all is the ones that you treasure. So thank you. And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas break and enjoy this time and hopefully get a rest after all the hard work this year. And then
thank you. Yeah, you too. Right back at you. I mean, when I think of your 2023, I feel like you've been deeply tested and stretched, and you've gone to new sort of uncharted places in yourself too. So again, it's been a big year of growth, and you and I have sort of experienced grief in different ways, and so it's also been really special to be able to witness that and sort of hear those stories of each other. So I also hope you have a very, very well-deserved break. A lot of love and cuddles with your beautiful girl and your family. And I'm so excited about next year and reconnecting then too.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. Have an awesome break, everyone who's listening in, and look forward to talking to you in 2024.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Thank you all so much for joining me and Ray today on the podcast. I really hope it helped you, gave you some pointers and tips, but it also helped you reconnect and think of yourself during this silly season. I have some top tips coming again next week for you all for goal setting for 2024 and wrapping up the podcast. So look forward to hearing from you all, and check it out and give us all some love and likes and comments if you have any questions. Would love to connect with you all online. Take care and have a great day.